Hello, you may have noticed on that crop rotation video, it seemed like it cut off right at the end. Well, we used to have an assignment instructions at the end of that video for our next assignment. And I've updated and revised the assignment a little bit, so I cut off the part of that video, and we're going to create our own video just about the assignment. So if you're a little confused what happened there, okay, this is the last part of the video, but this part's been updated. The original part of the video, not a whole lot's changed, so there is no reason to recreate the whole video as we look at it. So you're going to do a crop rotation assignment, and again, this is going to be a group assignment, similar to what I already did in class. You had so much fun with that. Somebody said, no, my teammates didn't post much and all that was a little confusing. Well, we're going to try it again with this assignment. We're going to actually work on a crop rotation. You're going to post it in the discussion board on your group, wait for your group mates to comment, try to come up with a rotation that you think is best and fits this situation as we look at it. So your first step obviously is going to be open on your own to download the spreadsheet and start filling it out. And I'll just show you a few things to do on that spreadsheet and how it works. So let me go ahead here and share the screen with the spreadsheet on it. Excuse me here while I do that, and we will go right with this. So here's a spreadsheet as you look at it. When you download and open it up, this part here won't be filled out yet, but we're going to work with what we have here at the college as a farm, and it's basically back to the original farm, so the numbers are not current as we look at it, which is okay. I don't want it to be current. I want it to be a situation where you can work through it. We're looking at a 100-cow dairy herd, and we're looking at 24,000 pounds of milk. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. Not exactly what we usually get, but 25 tons, 7 ton on the corn side, 7 tons per acre on haylage, 180 bushel corn. The numbers are not critical that they're exactly up to date. It's just that we do have some numbers in there to work through this exercise. Now, you're going to do this again, by the way, at the end of the course when you do it on your own farm operation. So in that case, you'll be able to poke some numbers in here versus what I've got set and locked up right now. This is where the first place you're going to put some numbers. Right now, your sheet's probably blank. Well, first thing I'm going to do is figure out how much corn grain each animal eats. Now, that comes from a different reference sheet. And let me see if I can share that other screen here. If I can stop sharing here and go to share that screen. And that's on this sheet over here. You notice down here, this is what from Iowa State, and this data I know is old, but we're going to go with it at least for our exercise because you can come up with your own data here. But they're looking at a 24,000 pound cow herd. This is the amount of feed that you would budget if you were doing expense budgeting on a cattle herd and how much feed they would eat of corn. We don't care about the distiller's grain because you're buying that, but in a corn, hay, and silage situation, how much are they going to eat? And that's where we're going to work with. Those are the numbers, and that's where those feed numbers come from. When you do this on your own farm, obviously you can do it with some actual numbers that you have or up those numbers a little bit to adjust for what your own farm is. For this example, I just want you to work through the example and figure out how this works and how you can actually use this to kind of determine what a good crop rotation is. So I put those numbers in here, the 113, 8 tons of corn size, 6 tons of hay. The yields are already in here for you. So it looks like when we get those numbers poked in for this 100-cow herd, we're going to need 62 acres, 63 acres of corn grain, 32 acres of corn sides, and about 85, 86 acres of hay. So then we're going to kind of move down to the bottom of this, and we talked about crop rotations, and you really, particularly if you're corn and hay, it's always a good thing to switch up crops. Continuous corn is not necessarily a good thing. Now, on this farm, we're actually working corn with a winter rye cover, and that can either be plowed down or harvested. So that kind of, if you're doing a continuous corn crop, that kind of offsets some of the problems you run with continuous crops. Not all of them, but some of them. But in my situation, I'm just going to say, you know what, I like to go with about 2 years of corn and 3 years of hay. In our forage unit, we talked about all the toxicity of alfalfa, so it needs to be out of that alfalfa for a couple of years before I can go back to it. So that's why kind of a 3-2 rotation works. I know a lot of dairy farms go a 4-2 rotation, or excuse me, a 3-3 rotation, 3 corn, 3 hay, some 3-4. If it's dairy, you want a fairly high quality hay, so you're going to kind of keep it to a short rotation on that hay. If it's beef, you may want to go 4 or 5 years on that hay because you can let a little grass, little weeds come through for a beef herd than you can with the dairy. So also in the exercise, it shows what the current fields are, and I don't have that map, but you can bring that map up what the current fields are. But what I'm asking is, what am I going to put out there next year? And these are actual acreage counts from the farm fields, and the maps for the class show that. So you can look at that if you want to see where those actual fields are at as we're looking at it. So let's say year one, you see there's a drop-down list again. I'm going to go with corn here and corn here. Then I'm going to go 3 years of hay. In this case, it's chopped down as alfalfa. And as we do that, okay, what it's going to do down at the bottom of the spreadsheet, it's going to start totaling up your acres down here for each year. You can see how many acres of hay I got, how many acres of corn I got each year. Okay, well, this year, let's say field 2 last year was alfalfa. It's been alfalfa for a couple of years. So I'm going to go 1 more year alfalfa on that, and then I'm going to switch that over to corn, and this one to corn, and then we're going to go back to alfalfa again on that as we look at our numbers. So anyway, I'm not going to do all of this, take up your time to do all this, but go on and fill that sheet down with what you think might be a decent look of a rotation. Come down here, make sure when you look at your total acres here, you see I have 16 acres of corn silage here now, or corn now. I don't have any corn silage in here, but we're going to call corn and corn silage together. So we're not listing them separate in this exercise. We're just going to call them the same thing. Corn acres can either be harvested for grain or silage is what we're assuming. When you get down here, these numbers got to add up to agree with the amount of feed needs I need here. Type up a little bit of why you went with this rotation. Save this document, upload it into that discussion board, and you have 3 or 4 teammates, 2 or 3 teammates typically, that'll look at it, and they can comment back. You go ahead and comment on there. Kind of come up with, you know what, let's change our rotation to this and come up with something you kind of guys agree on as a group that looks good. Come back, revise this, and then submit it to the assignment. So that's how that works. Hope you find this activity fun and interesting again. If you have any questions, just make sure you let me know.